On AEW Dynamite tonight, you're going to have the backstage security footage from the All In pay-per-view at Wembley last year. The Young Bucks are going to introduce the footage, and I guess they'll be doing like some voiceover thing as it plays. And this is AEW Tony Khan reacting to what CM Punk said in his interview with Ariel Helwani just last week about the All In incident and what happened afterwards in the back with himself and Jack Perry. And with this, before I get right into what my thoughts are on Tony Khan doing this, and it's just one thing, because a lot of people are saying that Tony Khan, with good, revealing planning to reveal to show the footage, what happened backstage, that a lot of people are saying that this is, a lot of people are quite critical of Tony Khan for doing this. Like Eric Bischoff, he's saying that it's pathetic. I even saw JD from NY said it was pathetic. When you've got JD from NY saying that, and he's a total AEW mark. But with this, though, at first, I'm going to play the clip of CM Punk. And this is CM Punk talking about what happened backstage. This was after, Jack Perry, the whole smart ass, oh, this is real glass, go cry me a river comments. So I'm going to play this clip right here.
So he says that, clearly a shot at you, as you said. Match is over, he goes to the back, what happens?
I went to Tony, and I was just like...
Which Tony, by the way?
Khan.
Okay.
And I was like, please handle that. Like, please. And he was like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, I'm not telling you what to do. Just be the boss, please. Like, I'm tired of this shit. Like, I told you this was a mistake, and I told you separate shows wasn't going to work, and now we're all here, and, please handle it. Because if you don't, you're not going to like the way I handle it.
Did he handle it?
No.
So you did?
Yes.
What happened?
Jack came back from his match. I was the next match. I'm sitting there. And I got people with me. I'm not going to say who they are, because I got a lot of friends who work there, and I wish them all well, and I don't want them to be punished because they're friends with me. And I walk up to him, and I'm just like, Jack, why do you insist on doing this dumb internet shit, like, on TV, And he's just like, well, if you got a problem about it, do something about it. And I was just like, man, come on, man. I'll fucking kill you. Like, what are we doing, And it just, it's like Chael says, sometimes you just can't let you get close, I thought I was doing a responsible thing, I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody a little bit. Samoa Joe was there, told me to stop, and then I quit. I turned to Tony and I said, this place is a fucking joke, man. You're a clown. I quit. I went to my room, and then Joe and Jerry Lynn came and got me, and they're like, let's just go out there and kill it. And I was just too fired up, and I'm fired up now, and I'm probably going to regret, talking about all this shit, but that's what happened.
Okay, so for those that don't know, you actually did go out and wrestle.
Yes.
Is that all just a blur for you, that match? Do you even remember?
Oh, no. That match is I was just like, this is the last time I'm ever going to wrestle Samoa Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is my last match in this company.
You knew that?
Yeah. I quit. I said, I fucking quit.
So why did you...
Right, yeah. So with this, the story that Punk told, that is pretty much from everything that was reported by the dirt sheets at the time last August. That's pretty much the same things that they reported, that Perry said what he said, Punk confronted them about it in the back, and then, they got him in the chokehold. Although I think they had said, though, that Punk had, did he punch him and then choked him out or whatever? And, with this, though, with now AEW, Tony Khan reacting, that, they're saying that, well, the footage is going to tell the real story. It's going to show that CM Punk's a liar or whatever. But, the dirt sheets, the thing with AEW is that they're in contact with these guys, with Meltzer, with Mike Johnson, with Wade Keller. Anything that happens there will get reported. And, of course, things they're going to tell the stories that are going to make their guys look good. Meltzer's going to tell stories that will make the Young Bucks look good. But, some people are speculating that this story, well, the version, CM Punk's version, isn't entirely true. And that I've heard some people try and claim online that Punk actually went for a hold. Jack Perry reversed it, got him a hold, or Punk or slipped and fell or something. So some people are saying that maybe, if this footage gets revealed, that this is maybe Tony Khan's in his feelings, with Punk saying he's a clown, and this is their way of trying to embarrass Punk. But I feel though that if that had happened, right, CM Punk tripped, slid on his ass, trying to get Perry in a hold, and then Perry reversed the hold even. That would have been out there. That would have been out there last year at the time. I mean, I remember I didn't follow the whole pay-per-view, but when I saw the clips on Twitter of the whole real glass comment, in the back of my mind, I knew shit was going to go down. And when I heard about the confrontation, Punk and Jack Perry, that didn't surprise me one bit. Did not surprise me one bit. But, to me, I don't know what they're trying to achieve with this. I guess it is just, if they have something where it makes Punk look bad and they want to embarrass him, then I guess that's the purpose of releasing the footage. But I don't know, because, I mean, Tony Khan already said he was in fear of his life, right? With Punk lunging at him or something where, was it like a monitor fell and hit Khan on the head or something like that? And it's like, well, Tony Khan's like a grown 41-year-old guy. It's like, you've got to man the fuck up. And so this whole, I'm fearing my life, kind of like playing the victim, when it's like, we all know Tony Khan was buddy with the Young Bucks and was a big Young Bucks mark, and he's a big mark for Dave Meltzer. And I don't know. I mean, it probably was hard for Tony Khan to be neutral. And CM Punk said in an interview, he wanted Tony Khan to handle the thing with Jack Perry, and Tony Khan didn't know what to do. Well, you very least should have scolded him. Someone, reprimanded him for the whole, the real glass comment, whatever. But again, the whole real glass thing, was it really a shot at Punk, or was it just making reference to the story that was out there on the internet? I don't know. But, I mean, the whole thing with that as well, it's like, Tony Schiavone on Collision, he has to grab Punk and tell him to handle the situation because Perry was cussing Schiavone out and other people out because of the whole thing. He wanted to use real glass. I don't know. I have a funny feeling that like maybe Schiavone was at it and he was trying to wind Punk up. He knew exactly how he'd react because at that point you should be getting Tony Khan. Punk's already had that shit with the Bucks and Omega, brawl out. Why are you going to Punk to ask him to handle this? It's like, I don't know, something just it ain't right there to me. But it does seem like it's quite spiteful what they're going to do. And this, they're saying this isn't a bait and switch. This isn't going to be like a parody. This is going to be the real footage that they're going to air. And it's just this thing about Tony Khan. Let's just tell it like it is. He's just a money mark. He's just a money mark. This idea that he's this great guy and this great owner that's going to save wrestling, and it's not like, how toxic things were in WWE when McMahon was there. It's like, that isn't all. That's not what it was. How it was portrayed. When AEW started 4.5 years ago. Tony Khan is kind of cultivated, kind of like there's that cult-like following with AEW fans, and amongst AEW talent. And Tony Khan, he just doesn't take criticism well. And if okay, let's say they are sitting on something that you could make Punk look bad. But I don't think this footage will make Punk look bad. It's like, yeah, maybe he tried to lunge at Tony Khan, but then this guy had been dicked around, No one was there to pick him up at the airport. the guy in charge of travel was buddies with the Young Bucks, so it was all probably intentional. And then they gave him a fake mobile number for someone to contact. So they were at it. And in the end, the buck stops with Tony Khan. The buck stops with the owner of the company. You know? And Tony Khan, let's be honest, just tell like it is, he's a money mark. He's a money mark. And his attitude isn't always the best. How he comes off, how he deals with questions being asked by the people, the journalists, the people with the scrums. You know, this is the whole thing. He made this big thing about having a scrum and using all these, you know, wrestling websites to his advantage. But then, you know, you've got to give them a little bit of something, you know, when they ask you questions about things on the inside. You've got to, you know, give them a little bit, throw them a bone here and there. But Tony Khan doesn't really want to do that. He gets very tetchy a lot of the times when he's asked difficult questions. And Ariel Helwani said that it was the most difficult interview he had when he had to interview Tony Khan, because Tony Khan just would refuse to answer many questions. And you know, Helwani had it was an alright interview with Punk, and Punk seems just quite a cool guy, quite, you know, reasonable, fair. He's maybe been a bit abrasive over the years, but I think how he is today, he seems pretty cool. You know, he's the grown up there. He was the grown up in the company, in the room. But I want to play this footage here. This is Vince Russo and EC3 talking about Tony Khan. And the title, Tony Khan only wants smart mark acceptance. And that's the thing. He's a big mark for Dave Meltzer, and this is what it's about. It's more about getting the approval from the guys in the dirt sheets as opposed to actually it being a business and making money. So I'm going to play this clip here.
You know, Punk's a feisty fella, quite a bit. But then at the same time, he spent so long in the WWE that he understood what it takes to be a conducted business. And though he had plenty of disagreements, probably with Vince in the creative aspect, I think at the end of the day, Punk, who is like really the guiding light of a smart mark embedded in real life, knew the wrestling business and what the will to win takes, and that is an increase and steady business going forward, right?
Yeah. Well, bro, he just tells the story of he lays out the Jack Perry and the story with him and whatever, and him going to Tony and him saying, brother, you need to handle this because you don't want me to handle this. You're not going to like the way I handle this. So, he did the right thing. And bro, Tony looked at him and literally the boss literally said to one of the boys, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do. And Punk said to Tony, bro, I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is your company. So then, of course, bro, Tony did nothing. And Punk had to handle it his own way. So he just really paints a clear picture, bro, of you got a guy, man, who just has no idea how to be the boss and how to make a decision and how to be the be-all, end-all. And I think we all knew that from the start.
Yeah, and then, again, you feel not bad, but some empathy for people that have grown up disconnected. So if you grow up entitled, rich, maybe hidden from humanity and society and the majority, you're going to not have these personal skill sets where maybe some of his outlandish, look who's talking, some of his behaviors that we kind of are critical of, rightfully so, he doesn't know, he's never been in a conflict. He's never been on the schoolyard, maybe getting pushed around or had to push somebody around. He's never had to fight for himself. There's a difference between respectfully confronting somebody. There's a difference between trolling, and I don't think he's aware of these things.
Bro, if his winning is acceptance, of the marks, of the, those that work for him, he wants to be loved Will there ever be an ability for him to shift that focus on the real winning, which is AEW, which is his company, which is getting back in the game, increasing numbers, improving the product? Does he have the ability to make that shift, bro? Or will it always be, man, they accept me, they love me? In his mind, that's the W. Can he shift that over to actually seeing results?
It seems that each and every time he doubles down on the latter, he doubles down on smart market acceptance, or I don't know. There's this dumb quote. I think I originated it as Derek Bateman doing some stupid video for WWE. I was like, well, if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. And he's still doubling and tripling down on the things he would do, and they are continually showing that decline. And knowing that there's going to be a minority, hardcore, defend at all costs group, he can retreat into that bubble to find reassurance regardless of what the reality is. So I do think, can that perspective change? I think it's going to take an outside source, or what we would call a coming to Jesus moment, where if Father said, I cannot tolerate seeing red on these sheets anymore, something has to give. I don't know what to do. You need a general manager is what you need. You need somebody that can be a dickhead. You need a business mind. You need things like this. You need, I don't know if JR is capable of it, but you need him in talent relations. You can't handle all these things. Or you put these smart people in that are vetted, well-sourced, and though you are still in charge, you have you can say yes and you can say no, but you can rest assured that these people have the best interests of the business in mind for what I need to see to keep it going, and for what you need to see to succeed, and for what you need to see to learn from, so that when you grow into this role, you will be able to handle these duties better. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Bro,
Right, yeah, and so that's some good points there from both EC3 and Tony Khan. And, man, I don't know. I don't know if Tony Khan will truly learn the error of his ways, and to start being a competent business guy, and not being a wrestling smart mark trying to appease guys like, Meltzer, Dave Meltzer, and his kind. It's like some of the silly shit with AEW, and even though I did like a lot of things about AEW early on, from 2019 to 2021 time. Just silly things, just things that, there's no build-up for matches. They just, we got to have Bryan Danielson, because he wants to work a wrestling match with Dante Martin or whatever. And then there was that, you've got Orange Cassidy, who's beating, the guy, Big Bill, who was Big Cass in WWE clean. Just these things just don't make sense. They're not realistic. But I don't think anyone's going to tell him, Big Show, Mark Henry, are they going to say anything? I don't know. Or are they just happy just to collect a paycheck? My guess is they're probably just happy to get a payday. In my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, they need somebody in. Maybe when JR was going back to the 90s, if JR, that JR from then, back then, now, he's 70, 71. I don't think he'd be in that position. He'd want to be in that position. But you need that guy who's quite hard-nosed. It's about business. Like what WWE has for Nick Khan, right? He's going to make the best business decisions. It's not the whole thing about, the old pals act. You do what's best for business. And I don't know. I don't know if AEW, will Tony Khan do this, or is he just going to resort, reply to tweets with, people who've only got about 90 followers, and giving all these, unnecessary long explanations for his booking on Twitter. Just a lot of dumb shit with Tony Khan. There really is a lot of dumb shit there. And the stuff, with Punk and with, the whole thing about the All In footage going to be, it's about, they say it's going to be revealed tonight on Dynamite. You have people, you've got Bully Ray. He's questioned this the decision to air the footage. And I don't particularly like Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, but he's got a point here. You know, he's saying, is this what's going to get more people to tune into your product? Punk committed to everything that he did, so let's say this video corroborates everything that Punk said. Where is the win for AEW here? And that's the thing. I don't think it's like, oh, I mean, really, let's think about it. Was AEW always thinking, oh, we're going to sit on this footage and then we'll reveal it when the time is right? That, oh, you know, maybe Punk got embarrassed, he slipped, he fell, you know, confronting Perry. I don't know. I don't think so. And then he says, I don't see the end game. It's not like they're airing the footage to prove what Punk said was wrong. Punk admitted he put his hands on Jack Perry. Punk admitted to verbal altercation. Punk admitted to people breaking it up. What is this video going to show us? And more often than not, when the Dirt Sheet reports and the Dirt Sheet's reporting these things, they have it right. You know, they do have it right a lot of the time. It can be just bullshit, though. There's bullshit stories out there. It's just, you know, talent, you know, wanting to shit stir, or just have a laugh amongst themselves to see how gullible people like Meltzer are. But then you get a lot of stooges out there too, you know, the people that leaked information. But I don't know. I feel like, you know, I think what happened, from what we've heard, basically that did happen. That was the true story. But then I do remember vaguely that when somebody was talking about the whole thing about Jack Perry and Punk, that whole thing about Punk choking him out, at the time I do remember Miro, right? Miro saying that was fake news, right? And I don't know if that's just Miro being a smartass. He tends to say smartass things like that online, but maybe, I don't know, maybe what we've heard that's not exactly what happened, you know. But I still think, let's be honest, you know, if Jack Perry kind of got the better slightly of Punk at one point in this altercation, we would have heard about it by now. It would have been the talk of the wrestling news world at the time when it happened. You know, people talk, and it definitely would have got out there. But hey-ho, it'll be interesting to see though, and I imagine they'll pop a good rating though tonight, because people will tune into Dynamite and will want to see the footage. You know, I'm curious to see. I might watch it on a stream tonight, maybe, but I'll be curious to see the footage though. But again, if this is security footage, you know, I imagine with the security footage, you know, I assume, right, that security footage, you won't be able to hear what was said, but it'll be interesting to see it though, nonetheless. Be interesting to see, you know, how it was. You know, Punk, if he did lunge at Tony Khan, you know, did he exactly punch Perry, take a swing at him, choke him out? It will be interesting to see it though. I'm curious to see how this will look, and well, yeah, it'll be an interesting watch. But that's me for now, guys. So feel free to hit the subscribe button, and let me know what's your thoughts on all of this. Do you think ultimately with all this stuff with Khan and getting involved in this little tit for tat with what Punk said, do you think ultimately that this is just that is spiteful, and do you think this is ultimately going to backfire on Tony Khan and AEW? But that's me for now, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.